Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 107th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. It's the usual 31k rules, no arty, no LAs, 3 Berserkers max, 2 Horse Archers max, and 6 Cavalry max. The team I'm in today consists of Scorpion King SR. He's called himself a green-eyed girl in this game, but it is actually Scorpion King SR, and he has bought the Seleucid faction. Then we have clan member, COH clan member Phlegathon, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then we have myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. So there's our team there. Full of experience, and I would say pretty good players too. But you wait till you see the other team. This should be a great 3v3 battle for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Scorpion King SR's Seleucid army. As you can see, he's bought some archers. Those of you new players to this might not know that pikemen are very susceptible to arrow damage, so it's always a good idea to bring some archers. And then you've got the Seleucid Silver Shield pikemen. And if you actually can see how long those pikes are, they are extremely long, and that's why it's so difficult for Roman infantry to actually, if you like, kind of fight down those pikes to kill the men on the other end. So that's why Roman generals don't really like attacking pike units head on, especially these long pike units. And as I say, for Seleucid you need to bring archers for a bit of cover fire for your pikemen. So you see he's bought more archers. I think he's got about 5 units of archers here altogether. And then we come on to the Seleucid Cataphract Cavalry. Now if you look how well armoured these guys are. They're extremely difficult to kill, and they've got a really good massive cavalry charge when they hit as well. They really are like kind of the tanks of the ancient world, and are a formidable force. So there you go, the Scorpion King Seleucid army. Should be interesting to see how well it does. And here we have the other team. We have Sip Prince Koala, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. Then we have Gods Thor, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. And then we have Heaven's clan member Lucius C. Sulla, who has also bought the Rome Julii faction. So there you go, you've got 3 great players there. That's a really good team, and I think, as I say, this should be an interesting battle to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, you can see that Scorpion King SR is bringing his Seleucid archers out to the far right flank there, probably with a view to firing arrows into the flank of the enemy infantry there. If you notice, he's also got his cavalry there to back up his archers if the enemy try any cavalry hits on his archers there.
Units, march.
And there we have an overall picture of the battle as we're all kind of squaring up to each other here. If you notice that the enemy Julii cavalry are pulling out a long way to the left here, probably with a view to threatening my left flank, maybe with a combination of an infantry attack on the front and cavalry coming in on my left. Be interesting to see how the battle develops on this side with the movement of that enemy cavalry. As you can see, they moved out a long way to the left there. But they could circle round to the rear, maybe what they're thinking, or just position themselves in a threatening position on the left there. If you notice, the infantry's moving, the enemy infantry's moving, and I'm moving around to face them. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, you can see that Scorpion King is using his archers effectively, and we'll be firing into the flank of the enemy infantry there. If you notice, he's got a couple of units firing fire arrows into the enemy infantry there. That of course not only causes casualties, but it lowers morale of the unit actually being hit by the arrows. It kind of spreads fear through that particular unit, and of course because of that their morale lowers there. Here's a close-up shot of them firing their shooting their fire arrows into the enemy there. very often in battle, as the fire arrows actually hit the enemy unit, you'll see that they're what they're thinking of is they're panicking. They don't like the fire arrows being fired into them, and as I say, you can see their morale lowering there by what they're thinking, as it says it's panicking by from fire arrows there. As you can see, Scorpion King's moving his cavalry out to the far right there. As I say, those Seleucid cataphract tank cavalry can be a battle-changing force if used correctly. So it'll be interesting to see how the battle actually develops here on the right flank as well. If you notice, all the time he's being a nuisance to the enemy SPQR army there by shooting and firing up fire arrows into the flank and the rear of that SPQR infantry. It's probably been a real nuisance to them, so he's hopefully they're going to do something rash that he may be able to exploit with his cavalry. If you notice here on the left flank, you can see that the enemy Julii general there has split his army into two, if you like. He's got a mini army there on my left. My guess is he's going to bring that round to my left flank, backed up by his allies' cavalry there, knowing that if I try and charge my cavalry into that infantry, he'll charge his ally, charge that cavalry in, and I could be at a disadvantage there. Let's be interesting to see what happens here on the left. You see he's bringing his infantry round. As you can see here, our ally Phlegethon's cavalry charging straight in there, hoping to rout some of the attacking enemy units there. Meanwhile, over on our right here, you can see there's some cavalry action going on. Cavalry v cavalry there. As I said at the beginning, the Seleucid cataphract tank cavalry are extremely tough. And if you're going to take them on in a cavalry battle, you really need overwhelming numbers, really. And also, of course, if possible, if you can throw in some infantry units as well to help, because they are pretty tough. You can see them against the enemy Julii cavalry, and some enemy SPQR cavalry is there as well. If you notice, a lot of the enemy cavalry are beginning to rout now. So both Scorpion King and Phlegethon there have done very well on our right flank there with their cavalry. As you can see, the enemy team are bringing some more Julii cavalry across here. But if you notice on the far flank, on the left flank, you'll see a lot more Julii cavalry there. Now, if they'd have come over at the same time, so that both cavalry units from, both of those Julii cavalry armies, cavalry had hit them, then that would have been a joint cavalry attack there. But see, throwing that one lot of cavalry in now, wouldn't surprise me if they routed. Can you see the Seleucid cavalry there starting to rout that one lot of Julii cavalry that came across? So that's also with the help of our Brutii ally Phlegethon. Now here you can see another lot of Julii cavalry charging in again, and this time backed up with some infantry units. Can you see the Julii infantry units coming in as well? So you've got a joint hit of 6 units of Julii cavalry plus infantry as well. So it would be a good move for my allies to move their cavalry back. Meanwhile, over on our far left flank here, you remember that small Julii army that was coming around my flank? I've hit it with my cavalry, routed several of its units there, and I've also thrown some of my infantry over. Can you see that Phlegethon here with his other half of his cavalry units there are charging in? So we've actually routed that little mini army that was coming around to my left flank there. So that was a nice bit of teamwork there by Phlegethon and myself there to rout that mini army that was coming around and threatening our left flank. So of course, because we've taken out so many units, that mini army had about, I don't know, 6 units in, then the army in front of me now is weakened and I could now attack. You notice over on the right flank, the Julii cavalry are charging in again, routing some of my my allies' units there. And as you see, there's not a lot of the Seleucid cavalry left now, but they've done an extremely good job with Phlegethon's Brutii cavalry on that right flank, but there's not a lot of the Seleucid cavalry left. As you can see over on the left flank now, because we took out that mini army, as I said before, the enemy army in front of me is now weakened, and so what I'm going to do now is an out-and-out assault on that army with cavalry and infantry, with a view to try and take out this army if possible. As you can see, the Julii cavalry are counter-attacking my cavalry going in there. And bang, as my 5 units of cavalry go in. I was hoping to rout several of their units there, but I think only about 2 or 3 actually routed there. I was hoping for a little bit more than that with that cavalry hit. And if you notice, I've thrown infantry in there as well. As I say, what I really would like to try and do here is try and break. Let's just pause the game for a second so we can take stock of the situation. What I'd like to do here on the left is try and break this weakened army, but he's had reinforcements from his ally coming over. So that was a nice little teamwork by the enemy team there. As you can see, the enemy unit in the centre, army in the centre, has put its units into Testudo. And as you can see, our allies' Brutii infantry are still holding there, but there's still a lot of enemy infantry and especially cavalry out to our right flank. You see, most of the Seleucid pikemen have been routed at this stage, but he's still got his some of the units of his tank cavalry left, but they are extremely battle damaged here. Let's see what happens then. As you can see, the Julii cavalry unit is charging in there, probably looking to rout one of our allies' units there. Meanwhile, over on our left, as you can see there, I'm being aggressively attacked by the enemy. But if you notice, I'm counter-attacking with not just infantry but cavalry as well. You see my cavalry charging to try and take a little bit of pressure off my infantry. But if you notice at the rear of the enemy, you can see there's some more Julii cavalry coming over, and they are now going to counter-attack from the enemy side. And all that cavalry coming in, I'm going to try and pull some of my cavalry units back, but then put them back in because I want them to try and hold and take as much pressure off my infantry as I can there. Because my infantry are taking a heck of a hit there, the forward units. I think what the enemy's plan is here, from what I can see, is because they've kind of lost maybe on the left flank and the centre. What they'd like to do is try and break this flank here. If they can just break my army, then that would give them an advantage then to turn and face my allies as they're coming down from the left. As you can see, they're attacking extremely aggressively with both cavalry and infantry here. And all I'm trying to do at the moment now is just try and hold this flank, allowing my hopefully my victorious allies to come over as soon as they can to try and take a bit of pressure off me. As you can see, there's cavalry after cavalry hit smashing into my infantry, as well as the enemy infantry attacking as well. So as I say, I'm just trying to hold at the moment. As you can see, my allies are now moving across from the right and centre to attack the enemy in the flank there. Let's say I've got a few battle damaged units still managing to hold at the moment. I'm still charging in what's left of my cavalry, just to try and take as much pressure off my infantry as I can here. But with my allies coming in on the right flank there, we're doing quite good. And you can see another enemy Julii cavalry attack coming in.
General is dead. His men know their doom approaches.
And as I say, I just want to hold while my allies actually attack there. And there they go. There's the last of the enemy Julii unit starting to rout there. I think my allies arrived just in time there, because I think my forward units were tired and very battle damaged, so they could have broken there. So my allies arrived just in time there. So that was a nice little teamwork from our allies there, from my allies there, and really well played to the other team as well. Lots of great moves there too. The first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. I saw some really aggressive, great teamwork by the enemy team there. Some of those cavalry hits that were coming in were massive, and there was a lot of great infantry movement as well by the other team. And as I said, I saw some really great teamwork too. So really well played the other team. Really well played to my teammates as well, Phalegathon and Scorpion King SR. I saw some great moves by them. Those Cataphract tank cavalry really made an impact on the right, but they were really backed up by Phalegathon's cavalry as well. Those two cavalry work on that right flank I thought was superb. They did extremely well together. Good team there. And I thought they overall they played very well as well. It was some great teamwork. So once again, it's a Spartan Commander saying hope you enjoyed the battle and look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.